Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Dustin Poirier at UFC 242. And this card sucks. It sucks. Okay, Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Dustin Poirier, the main event. It's a great fight. But co-main event, Edson Barboza versus Paul Felder 2. I mean, I don't even remember the first fight. I think Edson Barboza won the fight, but this fight as a co-main event for a big pay-per-view like for a Khabib and Poirier, I mean, I'm disappointed. And then Islam Makhachev versus Davy Ramos. Islam Makhachev is a very good student from Khabib, but for casual fans, they don't know who the fuck Islam Makhachev is. And Curtis Blades versus Shamil Abdurakhimov. I'm interested because I'm a UFC fan. Like two great wrestlers fighting each other, so it's pretty interesting. But for casuals, they don't know who the fuck Curtis Blades is. So UFC 242, except for the main event, it's just a shit card. So fuck you, UFC. You deserve that, okay? Fuck you. So Khabib versus Poirier. This is a very interesting fight because Khabib is 27-0, and Poirier is in his prime, and this is another wrestler versus a striker fight, and Khabib mauled Conor McGregor like I predicted. I predicted that Khabib will maul Conor McGregor, and in the second fight, if they get a rematch, I think Conor will do better. I think he has a better chance of winning against Khabib in the rematch, but there's no doubt that Khabib is one of the best wrestlers in the lightweight division. So I'll start off with Khabib. So Khabib is the best wrestler in lightweight division. At one point, I thought Kevin Lee was a little bit better than Khabib because Kevin Lee, Khabib mauled Edson Barboza, but Kevin Lee mauled worse than Khabib did to Kevin Lee. I mean, did to Edson Barboza. So I was like, maybe Kevin Lee might be the one who defeats Khabib. But the thing I realized from Kevin Lee is that he's not as smart as Khabib. Maybe just pure strength wise, like double leg strength wise. Maybe Kevin Lee is stronger, but I mean the fight IQ I think is lower for Kevin Lee. So Khabib, I think, and endurance wise, cardio wise, wrestling cardio wise, I think Khabib is better. So I think all around Khabib is a better wrestler. So I think it's safe to say he's the best wrestler in the lightweight division. But in the middle of the cage, when he's against the fence, when he backs fighters up against the cage, he can take people down and maul them, like almost every time. But in the middle of the cage, he has hard time taking down his opponents because Kevin Lee is an American wrestler, so he drives when he gets a double leg. If his opponent sprawl, he drives like Stipe Miocic did to Francis Ngannou. But Khabib doesn't drive. He doesn't drive. He grabs a single leg. And if its opponents sprawl, he stops there, and maybe he chain wrestles, but he doesn't drive. So in the middle of the cage, if his opponents defend the takedown, he has hard time taking them down. So after the third round, he has hard time taking fighters down like L.I. Quinta or Conor McGregor. So yeah. And for striking, I think his striking is okay. His striking is not the best, I think. His striking is optimized for his wrestling. His striking is working against guys like Conor McGregor or other fighters or like Edson Barboza or L.I. Quinta because he can maul people. Like they're afraid that they're gonna get taken down, so their hands are down. So that's why he can punch people. That's how he could knock down Conor McGregor. But if he had no wrestling, I don't think he has business in UFC. At least in the top 10 or top 15. If he had no wrestling and that level of striking that he has right now, I think he has no business in top 10 lightweight division. And he has a very powerful ground and pound. Joe Rogan keeps saying he has the best ground and pound in UFC, but I don't think so. I think Kevin Lee, the ground and pound that Kevin Lee showed in his fight against Edson Barboza was more damaging, I think. And I think Cain Velasquez does ground and pound better. But the difference is Khabib, it has a very good control over his opponents. Like he grabs a hold of their wrists so they can fucking move. So in that kind of sense, he has very good ability to hold their opponents down and just making them unable to move and maul them, hit them, punch them. But I don't just ground and pound wise, I don't think he is the best one. But he is maybe in the lightweight division he is best. But the ground and pound that Kevin Lee showed me when he was fighting Edson Barboza, that was vicious. So, and he has okay punching power. The casual fans, when they see him knocking down Conor McGregor, they would think like, oh, he has knockout power. But no, he has okay knockout power. I think he can knock people down, but I don't think he has one punch, dead stiff kind of knockout power. He hits pretty hard, but he's not a knockout artist. When he knocks people down, they're knocked down because they're surprised, not because of pure power. So he has okay power, but I don't think he has one punch, ridiculous Anthony Johnson type of knockout power. He has very good chin. His chin has been tested against guys like Michael Johnson or Conor McGregor. Michael Johnson, in the first round, he was tagging Khabib. I don't think Khabib was ever hurt. I don't think he was ever hurt. He was tagged a little bit, but I don't think he was ever hurt. And also against Conor McGregor in the third round, they striked for about 3 or 2 minutes because he had a hard time taking down Conor McGregor in the third round. So, but I mean, Conor wasn't 100% in the third round. He must have gassed, but he took shots from Conor well, which tells me that he has pretty good chin. But we don't know what would have happened if he got starched in the first round by Conor McGregor. So, but he has never been knocked down. He has never been knocked out. So he has pretty good chin, and he has pretty good cardio. But he starts fading after third round. Like he has a hard time taking people down after third round. He had a hard time taking fighters down after. Like Eli Quinta or Conor McGregor, and his ground and pound or takedowns worked very well especially in the first 2 rounds, and I think by third round he is tired, so I think he has a hard time taking people down. But yeah, and he hasn't faced the best jiu-jitsu fighters. He faced Rafa Dos Nachos, who has pretty good, like he's black belt in jiu-jitsu, but he's not as offensive like Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson off his back, he's always attacking off his back. But Rafa Dos Nachos, he's not as aggressive as Tony Ferguson. So if he fights Tony Ferguson, I think he would have pretty hard time grounding Tony Ferguson on the ground, because Tony Ferguson is like ridiculously good on the ground. So my point is, he has never faced a jiu-jitsu god on the ground, and he couldn't take down Gleison Tibau. Now I know that Gleison Tibau was on juice when he fought Khabib, but the point I'm making is that I watched that fight yesterday to see how Khabib would do if he can't take his opponent down. Except for Gleison Tibau, he took everybody down. He mauled everybody. But I wanted to see how Khabib would react if he can't take his opponent down, even though Gleison Tibau was definitely on juice. What I realized is that I think he panics. First of all, he panics. Not like, oh my God. But he does panic a little bit because he's like a strong wrestler, but he's a lifelong wrestler. But if he can't take his opponent down where he's comfortable at, he should be surprised, right? He should be surprised. So he throws haymakers, but against Dustin Poirier, if Dustin Poirier defends majority of the takedowns from Khabib, I think Khabib will be throwing haymakers. I mean, nowadays he has better striking, but so he might not be throwing haymakers. But the point I'm making is that if he can't take his opponent down, he kind of panics. So that's it for Khabib. And for Poirier, let's start. Poirier is one of the hardest punchers in UFC lightweight division. I don't think he hits hard as Conor McGregor. I don't think he hits harder than as Conor McGregor, but he hits hard. He knocked out Justin Gage. He knocked out Eddie Alvarez. He knocked out pretty much not everybody, but a lot of guys. Like he knocked Bobby Green, and he knocked out a lot of people. He mauled Yancy Medeiros with his punches. Like Yancy Medeiros got folded. So his chin was never that great, but you know what I'm saying, right? And then the difference between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier is that Conor McGregor is a pinpoint striker. He's a very accurate, and he's a counter striker. But Dustin Poirier throws in volume. That's the difference between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. Conor McGregor hits hard, hits clean, accurate, but he doesn't throw in volume because he doesn't have the best cardio. But for Poirier, I don't think his cardio is the best in the UFC lightweight division, but he throws in volume and his cardio can handle it. So that's the biggest difference between, I think, Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. So as a southpaw, he has very good left hand, left overhand right, overhand left. And one thing I realized from Holloway fight is that he has very good right hook. Like every time Holloway threw a punch and then Dustin Poirier countered with a right hook, Holloway was hurt. He was hurt. He got tagged. So one thing I realized is that I thought he only had punching power and knockout power in his left hand, but the thing is he has knockout power in his right hand as well. And his striking defense is phenomenal, okay? When he was like 4 or 5 years ago, he was kind of a brawler. He fought crazy, but nowadays he grew as a fighter. He's grown as a fighter, and his striking defense is very good. Like he always like defends all, like majority of the strikes like this. Like the strikes coming here, he defends it with his left hand. The strikes coming here, he defends it with his elbow and his right arm. So I think that's the when for Poirier and Holloway prediction, I picked Poirier because of his punching power and his striking defense. Like he defends almost majority of the strikes coming from his opponents with his guard. So every time he fights, the Mike Brown's screaming high guard, high guard, high guard, reminding of him to keep his hands high. So his striking defense is very good. And he has good takedown defense. I don't think he has the best takedown defense in lightweight division, but I've seen him getting taken down by Eddie Alvarez, who's not the best wrestler in the lightweight division. But that was a pretty good timed takedown. So for this fight against the best wrestler in lightweight division, he will be prepared. But I think he will get taken down at least once. At least once he will get taken down. But I think he'll be prepared very well. So I think he'll defend like maybe it's like 60 or 70% of Khabib's takedown attempts. But he's not a great takedown artist. His takedown defense is pretty good, but he's not a great takedown artist. And he has underrated chin. Like people think of Dustin Poirier of having a bad chin. I don't think he has the best chin. I don't think his chin is as good as Kelvin Gastelum, where he can bank on his chin and just swing for the fences. But Dustin Poirier, he's only been knocked out twice by Michael Johnson and what's his name? Conor McGregor. Like one punch. Michael Johnson, one punch. He got knocked down, got finished. One punch. Conor McGregor got knocked down, got finished. But he hasn't been knocked out in any other fight. So I think his chin is underrated. But he's, like I said, not a chin where he can bank on his chin and just swing for the fences. But it is underrated, I think. He has pretty good cardio. But one thing I realized from a Holloway fight is that whenever he smells blood, whenever he smells finish, he goes for it. And he went for it in the first round against Holloway. He smelled blood, so he went for it. But he couldn't finish Holloway. So after the first round, he got a little bit tired. He slowed down a little bit. And after the third round, it seemed like Holloway was about to take over the fight. Luckily, I mean, it's not luck, but he landed a big knee in the fourth round. So that kind of changed the fight. But his cardio is like, for 3 rounds it's very good, but after the third round it's a little bit questionable. He can definitely go for 5 rounds, but he's not going to be swinging for the fences in the 4th round and 5th round. So that's it for his cardio. And one of the most important thing is that he has grown tremendously as a fighter. Like, he's not the same guy who fought Conor McGregor. You watch the UFC, I think it was UFC 178. I think it was 178 when Conor McGregor was taunting Dustin Poirier. He was mad. He was like, I can't wait to knock that guy out. I can't wait to knock that clown. I want to knock that guy out. He was fucking furious. He was mad. Conor was 100% in his head. But Dustin Poirier has grown as a fighter. He's not the fucking same fighter that he was when he fought Conor McGregor. He is wiser. He's smarter. He fights more defensively sound. So the one who fought, the Dustin Poirier that fought Conor McGregor is not the same one. So yes. So who do I think is going to win the fight? It's a very hard pick because Khabib, phenomenal wrestler. Poirier, phenomenal striker with pretty good takedown defense. But I'm going to go with Dustin Poirier because, first of all, Poirier is mentally, I think he's ready for this fight. I don't think he's scared of Khabib. He said it in his interview. I'm not scared of getting taken down by Khabib. I'm not scared of Khabib's takedowns. And I think he has enough KO power, knockout power to hard Khabib or even finish Khabib. I don't think it's going to be like one punch knockout, but like I said, the difference between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier is that Conor McGregor throws one shot at a time, but Dustin Poirier throws barrage of punches. So I think it's going to be more feasible for him to hurt Khabib rather than just one shot at a time. And another thing is that he trains at the American Top Team, right? And I think American Top Team is the best gym in MMA business, okay? AKA pretty good wrestlers, but they train like monsters. So like 5 years ago, they had Kane, Luke, Cormier, Khabib. They were all killers. But now, look at them now. Kane is hurt. Luke Rockhold left the gym, got fucked up. Cormier just lost to Miocic. Khabib could lose to Poirier. So if Khabib loses too, AKA is done. Like who else do they have? Who else do they have? Fucking nobody. Islam Makhachev. So ATT has the best training partners in my opinion. So like they have the best wrestlers. They have like many champions are from American Top Team, like Amanda Nunes. Very good fighters like Junior Dos Santos, Andrei Arlovsky. A lot of great fighters from ATT. The ATT is like a buffet. They have everything, okay. And Gleison Tibau trains at ATT too. I'm not saying Gleison Tibau trains with Dustin Poirier, but I'm saying that Gleison Tibau he was on something, but he was able to defend takedowns, right? Against Khabib, right? So for him to be able to defend takedowns, there must have been someone who helped him train for the takedown defense, which makes me think that there are plenty of guys who can train Poirier to improve his takedown defense. So all around, I think Poirier has what it takes to defeat Khabib. As I said, Khabib in the middle of the cage, not the best takedown artist, and after third round, he has a hard time taking people down. So I think, and another thing is that Daniel Cormier is all around, I think, much better fighter than Khabib. Like you gotta agree with that, because Dustin Poirier is undefeated, because I think that's only because there were not guys who could defend takedowns well, like John Jones or Stipe Miocic did to Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is a tremendous fighter, but he lost to Stipe and John Jones because they could defend the takedowns against Cormier. But Khabib, except for juiced up Gleison Tibau, there was nobody who could defend takedowns consistently. So if Poirier defends some takedowns, I think he has what it takes to KO Dustin Poirier. I just think it's time for Khabib to lose. Like, I think Dustin Poirier is a terrible matchup for Khabib. Conor McGregor was a scary dude, but Dustin Poirier stylistically, I think it's a terrible matchup for Khabib. So after this, if Khabib loses to, AKA will be on suicide watch. Like Rockhold, Kane, Cormier, Khabib, their superstars are all dead. Suicide watch. What you gonna do, AKA? Fucking nothing. So yeah, that's what I think. And even if Khabib wins this fight, if he fights for another 3 or 5 years, there's no doubt he's gonna lose. Okay. Khabib is undefeated. He's a strong wrestler. He mauls people, but I don't think he is as good as fighters like Daniel Cormier, who has been defeated. I just think that there are not many guys who can defeat Khabib, because there are not many fighters who has great takedown defense like Stipe or John Jones. So yeah, that's my point. So I think it's been a pretty long video, but if you have watched the whole video, thanks for that, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.